most disturbing things found on Google Maps by Visual Venture. The link's gonna be in the description to the full video.
On Google Maps.
Even more chilling, the vehicle had been visible for years, faintly captured on satellite imagery from Google Maps, but no one had ever noticed it.
Google Earth's satellite image of the word help in a Union Pacific lot. It's right here in LA.
Oh, who did that?
Spanish police have made a breakthrough in a murder case thanks to an unusual informant, Google Maps.
People open Google Maps expecting streets and houses, but sometimes they find scenes so unsettling it shocks them to their core. Today, we'll dive into the strangest things found using Google Maps and Google Earth. We'll start with the strange ones and work our way to the truly disturbing. So my goal this year is to give you guys more videos without sacrificing quality, and to do that, we got to keep growing. It would mean the world to me if you subscribe, and I promise to do my very best to make the best videos I possibly can for you guys. I'm Visual Venture, and you are awesome. The illegal plant operation. Imagine trying to hide a secret from the police. Then Google Maps exposes that same secret not only to the police, but to the entire world. That's what happened to Curtis Croft. In 2013, Curtis Croft lived in Grants Pass, Oregon, and he had a very unusual business. Curtis grew marijuana on his property, but he had legal permission to do it.
His property is a registered medical marijuana grow site for 5 people.
That license meant he could grow 30 plants total, no more than that. But Curtis got greedy. He wanted more money. So he planted more than the law allowed, far more. Instead of growing 30, Curtis grew 94 plants, more than triple his limit. He lined them up neatly across his land. Then he made his biggest mistake. He bragged about it. Curtis went around town telling people how much pot he was growing. Sure, he had a license, but he was openly admitting he had way more than allowed. Before long, someone tipped off the police. When police got the tip, they didn't storm Curtis's property.
He about to go down.
Google Earth and zoomed in on his property. From space, Curtis's farm was wide open. The plants were clear as day. Cops could even count them, and they were obviously more than 30. However, even after seeing this, the police still didn't arrest Curtis. They needed proof that the Google Map images were current, so they launched a flyover.
The Rogue Area Drug Enforcement
going
team
down.
used Google Earth satellite images that led them to do a conventional flyover.
From above, the view was identical, row after row of illegal plants. And the whole time, Curtis had no idea the cops were watching. In September 2013, police finally raided his farm.
Authorities got a search warrant and seized 94 plants from his home.
Curtis was arrested. A week later, he appeared in court.
50-year-old Curtis Croft was arraigned last week in the Josephine County Circuit Court on charges of unlawful manufacture and sale of marijuana.
His final sentence was never reported, but his case made headlines everywhere. Now, if you look up Curtis's old address on Google Maps, you'll see nothing but an empty field. The plants are long gone. This next case made social media panic, and for a good reason.
They took his plants and everything, man.
In January 2025, a Twitter user zoomed into Los Angeles on Google Maps. What he saw didn't make sense. Someone arranged massive letters on the ground. They formed a single word, help. The help signs were so massive that Google Earth could see them from space. After seeing this, the Twitter user posted screenshots online. He thought the signs might be connected to trafficking or worse. Within hours, the post went viral. Thousands of people rushed to check the same spot on Google Maps. Zooming closer, they realized the sign was spelled out using building materials like pipes, sticks, and other pieces of scrap.
This is what people are talking about. These help signs that are, look at this one. This is a big help sign.
But help wasn't the only sign.
We need to do that many times,
Some
though.
were in Spanish, like Tráfico. Others in English, like Federal and LAPD. The location made it even scarier. The signs were near a ship.
Like, you would have time to do that, but you wouldn't have time to actually run and get help. I don't know. Maybe I'm tweaking. Oh, I accidentally muted it.
The stranger it got. Some claimed they spotted what looked like a tunnel entrance. Others swore they could see ladders, implying that something was hidden underground. Soon, reporters were asking questions too.
Is this migrants trying to reach out for help? Is there some sort of underground area in this section where they are being trafficked right now?
The internet was drowning in theories, but one man decided to find out the truth. A Twitter user called LA Guy refused to speculate. Since the strange help signs were in LA, he grabbed his camera and drove straight to the site. When he arrived, the scene was unsettling.
Okay, there's the help sign right there. big help. I mean, I honestly don't know if this is just kids fooling around or something real.
From the ground, the letters looked enormous. Whoever made them spent serious time and effort. Then LA guy noticed something worse. A dog was tied to a post nearby, shivering in the cold rain. He called out, hoping to find its owner.
Here, let's see if I can get someone's attention. Hello? Is anybody there? Anybody whose dog this is?
No one answered. He and the dog were alone in the dark. So LA guy drove to a nearby homeless camp, hoping to ask about the signs and the dog. That's where he finally learned the truth. A woman living at the camp told him exactly who had made the signs.
A guy named Jose? Yes. He's writing those messages over there?
It wasn't a group of trapped people. It wasn't an underground
Jose.
crime. It was just one man named Jose. Then LA guy asked why.
Why is he doing that? Do you know?
She said Jose wrote those signs because he needed help. LA guy shared his findings on social media, hoping the police would
whoever
get involved.
it just sounded like he do
the
need
LAPD
help.
Central Division responded directly to LA guy's post. They confirmed that a homeless man named Jose made the signs. They also said they made several different contacts with Jose over the years, but he refused housing or a mental health evaluation. The cops also said there was no evidence of trafficking. Although there was no conspiracy, LA guy still wanted to find and help Jose. A few days
How can he
later,
refuse
returned
that?
to
He
life.
obviously
This time,
needed.
everything was gone.
I just spoke to the police officers, and this whole place has now been cleared out completely.
The massive signs that sparked panic were gone.
It looks like all the signs have been removed as well. It's just totally cleared out.
Now, if you search the location on Google Maps, all you'll see is an empty patch of land. And sadly, we don't know if Jose ever got the help he needed. Up next is a story about ghosts, a mysterious island,
Hopefully
and
he
a
did.
little girl. The Haunted Island. On the edge of Mexico City, there's a very unusual island. From above, it looks peaceful. We'll look closer and you'll see hundreds of strange objects hanging from trees. 6 years ago, a YouTuber named Micah discovered the place on Google Maps. When he zoomed in, he realized what those objects were.
There's an island that has doll parts hung up all over this little area.
The entire island was covered in dolls. Honestly, it looked nightmarish.
You know, there's just parts of dolls, and they're all kind of like messed up in different ways, or like muddy or something. Pretty weird.
All this was the work of one man named Julian.
Some just insane person in the middle of Mexico City just lived on this little island by themselves and just started hanging these up everywhere.
So why did Julian cover an entire island with broken dolls? It all began with a tragedy that happened about 70 years ago. In the 1950s, Julian was on the island when he made a terrifying discovery.
He found the body of a girl at the entrance of this chinampa. He tries to rescue her. Unfortunately, he's unable to.
Julian was devastated by what happened to the child. Days later, he spotted a doll floating near the same spot where the girl passed away. He believed it belonged to her, so he tied it to a tree as a tribute to her, to honor her memory.
Kind of sentimental.
He said strange things started happening. Julian began hearing creepy noises, especially at night.
I mean, I would expect it to.
He said he also saw shadows. He heard strange noises. He could no longer be at ease in his own home.
Julian was convinced that the girl's spirit haunted the island, and for some reason, he believed the best way to appease the ghost was to hang more dolls around the island. So that's what he did.
That's kind of
Over
dumb.
the next 50 years, Julian collected every broken doll he could find. He dug through garbage dumps in Mexico City. He traded crops for broken toys.
Why would you
He
do
even picked
that,
up
man?
old dolls floating down
real.
the canal. But Julian didn't want the pretty dolls. He wanted the ugly ones, and he had a reason.
He believed that they frightened the girl's spirit. The uglier the dolls, the more they scare away the spirits.
Soon the island was covered in dolls with broken limbs, missing eyes, and cracked faces. Julian also lived in complete isolation. No wife, no children, just him and thousands of dolls. But this haunting story would end exactly where it began. In 2001, Julian's nephew visited the island to help him with chores. The two spent the day fishing in the same canal where Julian found the little girl decades earlier. But something strange happened that day. As they fished, Julian told his nephew that mermaids were calling him from the water. His nephew told him to be careful. But later that afternoon, his nephew found Julian floating face down in the exact same spot spot where the girl passed. After Julian passed,
That's
the island
crazy.
of dolls became a tourist attraction, but visitors began reporting strange things. They talked about the dolls moving their heads, arms, and opening their eyes. Visitors also claimed
Stay
to have
away
heard
from
the dolls
there.
whispering to each other. Today, the island holds more than 4,000 dolls. It even set a weird world record, the world's largest collection of haunted dolls. This next case is about a city where 50,000 people vanished overnight. The nuclear city. If you search Pripyat on Google Maps today, you'll find a ghost city frozen in time. The streets are deserted, the houses are empty, the schools are abandoned.
Unbelievable. What's this, a classroom? Looks like a classroom, huh?
And in the middle of it all,
Yeah,
a
for
bright
sure.
yellow Ferris wheel stands in an empty field.
Here we go. There's the famous Ferris wheel. It's pretty crazy.
But this place wasn't always like this. Back in the 1970s, Pripyat was a dream
Oh, that looked
city.
good.
And then a tragedy occurred. In February 1970, the Soviet Union wanted to build a gigantic nuclear power
Oh
plant.
man.
They picked an area in Ukraine for the project, but the nuclear workers needed somewhere to live, so they built a new city from scratch. They called it Pripyat. The city had modern apartments, great schools, and shopping malls.
Each building is hugely spaced out with these enormous green areas in between to give people space.
The average age of the people in the city were just 26. A brand new amusement park was set to open soon. The main attraction was a bright yellow Ferris wheel, but no one ever got to ride it. Remember, Pripyat was built because nuclear workers needed somewhere to live. Well, on April 26th, 1986, something went terribly wrong at the nuclear plant near Pripyat. Around 1 a.m., workers at the nuclear plant began a routine safety test. They wanted to see if backup systems would work during a power failure, but something went wrong.
It was kind of a routine test, but it was conducted in such a way that that routine test turned into a terrible accident.
Energy levels dropped too low. The team tried to fix it, but every move made things worse. Then the reactor exploded. The blast was devastating. Some workers lost their lives, but the radiation that shot into the air was far more dangerous. And Pripyat, just a few miles away, had no idea what just happened. Workers from the nuclear plant understood how bad the accident was. The radiation in the air was lethal, but Soviet authorities didn't want the world to know about their mistakes, so they stayed silent. For the next 36 hours, life went on like normal in Pripyat. Weddings went forward, children played in the streets, and babies were pushed around, all while invisible poison spread through the air. Then people started getting sick. Some experienced severe headaches. Others were coughing and vomiting. A resident recalled the horror.
Could you just imagine going about your day and not knowing that there's poisonous gas in the air? Man, that is...
Doctors checked my son and said that his radiation dose was 2 times above the adult norms.
The truth couldn't stay hidden forever. By 11 a.m. on April 27th, the evacuation began.
A fleet of 1,200 buses under the command of Soviet authorities evacuated the city in under 48 hours.
Within 48 hours, nearly 50,000 people left. Many thought the problem would be fixed so they could return. They never did. Pripyat became a ghost city. In 2011, officials opened Pripyat to tourists over the age of 18. They claimed the area was now safe to visit. Then in 2015, Google sent its Street View cars to drive through Pripyat. They filmed empty buildings, playgrounds, and the famous Ferris wheel. Today on Google Maps, the city looks frozen in time, like everyone stepped out for a moment and never came back. Up next is a village that was packed with something that wasn't human. The village of memories. Some YouTubers were exploring Japan.
That doesn't sound too good.
Maps. Then they came across a strange village hidden in the mountains. It was called Nagoro. At first, it looked like an ordinary countryside village. The deeper they clicked into the streets, the more unsettling it became. People were everywhere. They sat on benches, leaned against walls, and stood outside small shops. But something wasn't right. Nobody moved, nobody breathed, nobody blinked. Then the truth became clear. These weren't real people. They were life-sized dolls. hundreds of them. They dressed as
oh man,
farmers,
something tragic
students,
must have happened there.
shopkeepers. Some dolls sat inside schools as if class just ended. Others waited at bus stops. In Ngoro, the dolls outnumbered the humans 10 to 1. But how did this village end up with more dolls than people? The reason was heartbreaking. In 2002, a woman named Tsukimi Ayano returned to her childhood home in Ngoro. Ayano spent most of her adult life in the big city, but when her father fell ill, she came back to take care of him. When she arrived, the village was nothing like she remembered.
だんだん少なくなっていったというのは、だんだんお年寄りになっていって、亡くなる人もおればです。
As a child, Ayano remembered 300 people living in Ngoro. By the time she returned, only 30 people remained. Most left for the cities. Those who stayed behind were either old or deceased. No children had been born there in nearly 2 decades.
So a lot of people just kept moving out and leaving. But for the 30 left locals that still stayed here, were born here, they wanted to make this feel like it was still alive.
Ayano decided to stay with her dad. She started a small garden outside her house, but the birds kept eating her seeds. To protect her crops, she built a scarecrow. Instead of making a faceless figure, she made it look like her father. She even dressed it in his clothes. Neighbors passing by thought the scarecrow was her father. Some would sometimes say good morning to it. That's when Ayano had an idea. She realized she could bring back everyone who left the village. Not literally, but through scarecrows or dolls. Over the next few years, Ayano made dolls to represent those who once lived in Ngoro. There were even dolls for those who passed away. She built their bodies with wood and wire, stuffed them with newspapers, and dressed them in old donated clothes. She even gave each doll a face, a name, and a place in the village. By 2019, she created more than 350 dolls. Ngoro started to look alive again, but in an unsettling way. Abandoned houses had doll families living inside them. Schools had doll students sitting at desks. Ayano wasn't doing this for fame. Her village was in the mountains of Japan, but thanks to Google Maps, the world eventually discovered Ngoro.
Oh my god, I've never seen anything like this.
By the early 2010s, Ngoro was visible on Google Maps Street View. It caught the world's attention. In 2014,
I actually kind of like that. That's kind of creative.
A documentary called Valley of Dolls. Soon after, tourists began arriving. Vloggers wrote about it. YouTubers visited. The abandoned village was suddenly famous. Ayano became famous too. She started teaching doll making workshops and even organized a festival so visitors could see the scarecrows up close.
On the first week of October, on a Sunday, they have a scarecrow festival, and it's all here, and a lot of people attended.
But it wasn't all fun. Ngoro was soon listed among the scariest places on Earth.
That's still creepy, but I kind of mess with the idea.
I don't trust this place at night anymore.
And while tourists kept coming, the real problem only grew worse. The human population in Ngoro kept shrinking. The tourist visiting in 2023 described what they saw.
25 people in a 25. There's more scarecrows than people, obviously. There's only 25 people here left. Before, there was 30.
A sad end to a once vibrant town. Sometimes Google Maps doesn't just capture mysteries, it solves crimes. The man with the body bag. In October 2024, Google Street View captured 2 shocking images in a tiny Spanish village. The first showed a man pushing a wheelbarrow. Inside was a large white bundle, tightly wrapped and obviously heavy. There were no other people in sight. Just one man and the bundle he was moving. But the next image was even more suspicious. The same man was loading the white bundle into the truck of a red car. He was bent over,
could you imagine? That's crazy.
Google camera was filming it.
That's
but
God,
why were
for
these
real.
images such a big deal? Because this man was a suspect in a missing person case, and the police believed the missing
You got
person
caught by
was
Google
inside
putting
that
the body
bundle.
in the
To
trunk.
understand
That
why,
is
we need
crazy.
to start from the beginning. The missing man's name was Jorge Luis. Before disappearing, Jorge lived in Cuba. Reports say that he had a wife named Alicia who lived in Spain. However, in early 2023, Jorge moved to Spain to join his wife, but the reunion wasn't all smiles. When he arrived, he allegedly discovered that his Cuban wife was having an affair with her 48-year-old neighbor. His neighbor's name was Manuel. He was a bartender with a reputation for violence. Suddenly, Alicia was caught between 2 men,
Damn, she
and
dead
she had
wrong.
to choose. The exact details are unclear, but According to police reports, Alicia and Manuel decided to end Jorge's life. It's not clear what triggered this decision, but most believe they wanted to continue their affair without him. Around October 2023, Alicia and Manuel took Jorge's life. Then Manuel stuffed the body into a sack, loaded it into a wheelbarrow, and rolled it down the quiet street. It was pure coincidence that Google was mapping the area that day.
That the Google Street View car just so happened to be driving through 𝗖𝗛𝗏 for the first time in 15 years.
Afterward, Jorge's body was buried in a nearby cemetery. But Manuel and Alicia needed to cover their tracks, so they sent WhatsApp messages from Jorge's phone to his cousin. The texts claim Jorge got a new girlfriend and was starting a new life with her. One message read, "I met someone, I'm staying here, don't look for me." But Jorge's cousin smelled something fishy. First, Jorge stopped answering calls, and now these texts didn't sound like him at all.
That doesn't
By November
look
2023,
like
the cousin
weird.
reported Jorge missing. As part of their investigation, police used cell phone triangulation to track the messages.
Yeah, you
they
caught,
found that
man.
the texts came from the same area where Alicia resided. Police questioned Alicia, but she denied everything. With no body and no evidence, the case went cold. Nearly a year passed with no answers. Then in October 2024, police stumbled upon the Google Street View images.
Images show him stuffing what appears to be a body-shaped package wrapped in white plastic into the boot of a vehicle.
Oh, you gotta
was
wait.
Enough to reopen the case. Police brought Manuel and Alicia in for questioning. Alicia eventually confessed. She admitted that she and Manuel ended Jorge's life together. Manuel, however, refused to confess. Weeks later, police located Jorge's remains.
The body of the unnamed 34-year-old Cuban victim, only referred to by the initials JLPO,
Lock 'em
was
up,
found
man.
in a nearby cemetery last week.
The investigation was finally over, but justice almost slipped away. If the Google Street View car hadn't passed that street at that exact moment, Jorge's disappearance would have remained a mystery forever. This next story also involves a missing person. The secret in the water. In October 2006, Davy Lee Niles left the bar after meeting a friend. He drove away into the night and was never seen again. His family searched everywhere,
There were posters. It made news. His face, the car.
but there was no trace of Niles or his car. After 5 years of searching, the family began to lose hope. In 2011, they published an obituary and held a memorial service. The obituary read, "Niles Davy Lee, age 72, passed away and only God knows the time and place." It was understandable that they thought that he wasn't alive. Niles was 72 when he went missing. He also had a terminal illness and was struggling with depression. All hope was lost. Then Google Maps revealed where Niles had been all this time. In 2015, a funeral home worker in Michigan was decorating a massive Christmas tree. The tree was so tall he needed a lift to reach the top. From there, he looked down at a nearby pond and froze.
When he got to the top,
I ain't gonna lie, I don't feel like finishing this last one, so like I said, check out the new channel, links in the description. Love you all. PLAKZ.